After a thrilling Week 18 win over the Baltimore Ravens, the Steelers are AFC North champs and head into Super Wildcard Weekend with another game taking place at Acrisure Stadium. Tomorrow, the Texans come to town for a Monday night matchup on the North Shore. We have all the latest on the game coming up next as you are watching Steelers Kickoff. It's live right here on KDKA TV.
Welcome to BetMGM Steelers Kickoff.
The final play of the regular season for the final spot in the playoffs. Tyler Luke from 44. Snap good. Hold it. The kick is no good. It is wide right. And the Steelers are the champions of the North.
Oh, baby, what a finish. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the AFC North champions. And also brought to an end the John Harbaugh era in Baltimore. Now it's time for Super Wildcard Weekend. It's going to end Monday night right here at Acrisure Stadium. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome inside the studios here at KDK. Another edition of Steelers Kickoff. Bob Pompeani joined by the quarterback of the program, Mr. Charlie Batch. Rich Walsh and Gerry Dulac join us in studio very shortly. So, Charlie, you were there in person. You've seen your share of great moments in that stadium. What was that experience like when he missed that 44-yard field goal after they convert on fourth down? Where does that rank, that rivalry game that you saw here on that Sunday night?
I was still in shock that Likely caught the ball prior to on fourth down, setting up that field goal opportunity. But then you're just looking back and looking at stats and like, man, this guy actually missed some field goals throughout the course of the regular season. And the fans who were behind the uprights, they let everybody know when they started celebrating, man. And it was just exciting because that stadium was electric at that time.
It really was. And, you know, there were so many great individual performances that night, but perhaps none better than the captain, Cam Hayward. Just named second-team All-Pro yesterday. What did you think about the way he played in that must-win game?
He was phenomenal throughout the course of the game, specifically in that second half. He took over, he dominated that line of scrimmage, and everybody on that defensive side of the ball fed off of that energy that he was bringing. This is the reason why he is the captain of that defense. Everybody was rallying around him, and he made sure that this was not going to be his last game in 2025.
It's amazing. He's at age 36, keeps on keeping on, man. He's been very good this season. Another key component was the Steelers' passing game, specifically their wide receivers. You know, they brought in veteran guys with experience, and it showed up in this game. And unlike last week before that, that group came up with many clutch catches. I would assume nobody felt better than the guys who were stepping up for DK Metcalf and how he felt about this, because he was out. He wanted one more game. So let's bring in Rich Walsh. Rich, they certainly missed DK Metcalf after he put himself in that position to get that 2-game suspension, but his presence will help everyone around him. How big of a factor do you think he'll be tomorrow, even if he doesn't get big stat lines?
Well, Bob, there's no question he'll be a huge factor in this game, whether he makes a big play or not. Just having him on the field is a threat and will take coverage away from the other guys. So even if he isn't targeted, which I think he will be a lot, he will help get other guys open. And earlier this week, Metcalf couldn't really talk about the incident in Detroit, but he did want to talk about getting a chance to get back on the field again.
Great, especially, we get to play another game. My teammates gave me another opportunity to come back, so just big shout out to them. Very difficult, but thanks to the NFL for allowing me just to, come up here and, still work out and, get some training in. I feel full responsibility for my actions, and, that's it. But, I got the utmost respect and, confidence in my teammates for still going out there and performing to the best of their abilities.
All right, now it's time to bring in our Steelers insider, Gerry Dulac. So, Gerry, there were some rumors out there during Metcalf's suspension that the team could possibly void his contract due to conduct detrimental to the team. Now, is there any validity to that at all?
Rich, the language in the contract stipulates that if there is a situation such as that, the guaranteed money can be voided if you cut him. But the Steelers have no intention of cutting DK Metcalf. So that $25 million, even though it's not guaranteed because of the language in the contract, he will still earn his $25 million. So it actually is not a big deal. It was a possibility that could have happened. Steelers have no interest in moving on from him.
All right, well, the offense will certainly welcome him back tomorrow night. Do you think Arthur Smith deserves, some credit for last week's performance without him, especially in the second half, or was it all Aaron Rodgers there?
Well, not to take away from what Aaron Rodgers does, especially at the line of scrimmage, especially on that last play. But let me tell you, Rich, before the game, I thought Arthur Smith was one of the key components of that game based on the way that offense performed in Cleveland without DK Metcalf. I thought Arthur Smith did a phenomenal job, maybe the best job of the season. You look, it was the first time all year they had 6 different receivers get at least 5 targets, and it was only the second time this year that 6 different receivers had at least 3 catches. He got everybody involved. Aaron Rodgers, of course, big part of that, but so was Arthur Smith.
And Smith has definitely impressed some around the league. The Titans asked for permission to speak to him about their head coaching vacancy. Smith made sure to point out this week he would not let it be a distraction, guys.
Yeah, he's not going to talk about that now for sure. And thank you, guys. Now it's time for Charlie's weekly quarterback analysis, brought to you by Cleveland Brothers. Before we get into that, check this out, Charlie, because we've been harping on not using the middle of the field after many games this season and last season as well. But as you can see, Aaron Rodgers sprayed it around last week. Charlie, Rodgers made several of these throws with pinpoint accuracy at age 42. That arm, still very much elite.
It really is. And typically when you're at that age, your arm gets weaker as the season goes on. But his is getting stronger, and that's a beautiful thing to watch because he's still pressing the ball down the field. This throw, you know, you're sitting here on a slant route that loosens up the defense. And ultimately, the throw that stands out to me is the one that right there we just saw as you look back to Adam Thielen. Pinpoint accuracy, 28 yards down the field. And you can see him out there having fun. The guys are feeding off of what he's bringing, and that's why they brought him in here for his leadership.
And this is the time of the year you want a guy like that on your side. We're just getting started here on Steelers Kickoff. We're going to hear from half of the Steelers' productive backfield when we come back. Jaylen Warren talks to Rich Walsh. That's next.
Welcome back to BetMGM Steelers Kickoff.
You know, one major component of the Steelers' offense, which has been consistent all season long, is the run game, spearheaded by Kenneth Gainwell, the MVP of the team, and Jaylen Warren. Rich spoke to Warren this week at practice about another successful season in that backfield.
So, man, that was a crazy game. Have you ever been a part of a game like that before?
Nah, I mean, I knew it was going to be a big game going into it, but that's probably the loudest I've ever heard it. And, like, the environment, that's, like, I always noticed the yellow towels waving. But when the terrible towels were waving that game, it just looked different. It was like a wave.
Do you feel like this offense is clicking right now and maybe clicking at the perfect time for you guys?
Yeah, I'd say, yeah. Yeah, we're all really trusting each other probably more than ever, and we're just playing our game.
Do you have a chip on your shoulder? Because you run like it.
Right? Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, I always look at it like mano a mano, you know. I don't ever want to get beat by a man, so it's just how I always play football. Like, I started playing basketball first. They told me to try football. I denied it at first, but then I was like, I would go to my cousin's like football practices, so I tried it, and ever since then, I just love the physicalness of it.
You know, your path is unique here, but your cousin also had a unique path, and I didn't even realize you're cousins with Willie Parker.
Yeah, yes, sir.
That's a crazy story, right?
Yeah, it is. When I first signed with the Steelers, that's when I found out I was cousins with him. We got on FaceTime. I remember he was like, if you want to make the team, you have to shine in backs on backers. And he kind of explained, like, the whole stadium is watching, and you know, it's you versus a linebacker, and if you can stand up in that drill, you'll make the team. So I took pride in that.
Good stuff there, Rich. It's interesting because both those guys were undrafted. Willie Parker undrafted, now his cousin, Jaylen Warren, undrafted. There's something in the water there. And maybe that explains why he's been so rock steady on the field, Charlie. A guy who's had to earn it all the time, and that is makeup now. That's how he runs.
It really does, and you hear him talk about that back-on-backer drill, something that's always highlighted during training camp. That's where he made his mark in the very first period of that session. So ultimately, he takes that and has a chip on his shoulder that resonated into what you're seeing right now as he is the lead back. As great of a season as Kenneth Gainwell has had, this guy is one of the most underrated players, not just on this team, which they know they have, but throughout the entire league. This guy is a rock star. This guy goes out there and handle his business. 958 yards this season. He's still getting it done at a high level.
Both of those guys went over 1,000 yards, all-purpose yards, and that's a nice tandem to have. Coming up on Steelers Kickoff, we're going to take a closer look at the Houston Texans. Rich has a preview of a team that's won 9 games in a row heading into this matchup on Monday night.
Throws to his left, and the ball is dislodged. Jalen Ramsey, a 5th turnover. The machine, DK Metcalf. What a grab by Connor Hayward. And another turnover. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's picked off. It's Duggar. He shrugged him off with a stiff arm. Rodgers hit for the Pittsburgh Steelers touchdown. Hurls aside one defender. Stiff arm another. Into the end zone. Kenneth Gainwell makes a miraculous catch. Has a man wide open. It's Calvin Austin. Touchdown, Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's the snap. Here's the hold. Here's the boot by Loop. And that kick is no good. No good. No, he missed it. And your Pittsburgh Steelers are AFC North champions.
Well, that'll get the juices going, no doubt, and so will this. Last night, Steelers hosted a fan tailgate on the North Shore, hosted by Charlie Batch and Rob King. Plenty of fans headed to Tequila Cowboy to enjoy those festivities. Ticket giveaways, former Steeler players in attendance, all in preparation for Monday night's game. So it does all lead to Monday night, where the Steelers have won 23 straight on Monday night. The Texans, on the other hand, they've ended the season with 9 straight wins. Remember, they started 0-3. For a closer look at the Texans and their forceful defense, we turn it over to Rich Walsh. Rich?
Well, Bob, it's long been said that in the NFL, it's not about who's the best team. It's about who's playing the best when it matters the most. Well, the Houston Texans just might fit that bill, as they are easily the hottest team in professional football. After losing 5 of their first 8 games, the Texans have rattled off 9 straight wins and head into tomorrow night's game on a serious heater.
You have to take advantage of this moment. You don't know when they come around. Like, it's not just because you suit up, you're gonna make it every single time. You gotta go earn your right to get in there. We earned it. Now, what do you do with that?
The Texans' strength is definitely on defense, but offensively, they've improved as the season has gone along. Quarterback C.J. Stroud has led Houston to the playoffs in each of his 3 seasons and has won at least 1 postseason game 2 years running. His main target is wide receiver Nico Collins, who has put together 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. That Stroud to Collins duo lit up the Steelers the last time they played 2 years ago, when Collins caught 7 passes for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. In the run game, they rely on rookie-veteran combo of 4th-round pick Woody Marks and former Cleveland standout Nick Chubb. Marks has gotten more carries this year, but Chubb has a higher yards per carry average. But it's on defense where the Texans really shine. They rank near the top of the league in every important category. Their front 7 has been dominant, and the Steelers will have to pay extra attention to the pass rush combo of Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson tomorrow night.
For us and how we played defense all year, it's really predicated on how we get after the passer. And that'll be really important this week as well. How can we disrupt the passer as much as possible, right, to make it difficult for him, to put us in advantageous positions to go and take the football away.
All right, here's a look at some of those defensive stats and rankings in our South College game plan. No team allowed fewer yards and first downs this year, and that fearsome pass rush forced teams into the 3rd most turnovers in the league. And speaking of that pass rush, the offensive line is going to have their hands full. And that's a position that's been inconsistent over the years, but I think has turned into the strength of this team. How do you rate this offensive line right now, especially because they're on their 3rd offensive left tackle, right?
Rich, not only is this offensive line tough, but they're smart as well. But you go right across the line, left to right. Isaac Seumalo, he's the leader of that offensive line. He's a technician. Zach Frazier is as tough as they come. Mason McCormick is nasty, blocks to the whistle. And there isn't a right tackle in the league who's maybe as athletic as Troy Fautano. And then after adding Dylan Cook, replacing a first-rounder, the Steelers actually believe their offensive line has gotten better. But the other thing, too, Rich, they have to be smart because of Aaron Rodgers. They have to be adjust when he's changing protections with his snap counts, the codes that he uses. So this offensive line has to be able to process very quickly, and all those guys are smart enough to do it. That's a big factor in this offensive line.
All right, looking forward to tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow's game, it'll be the first home playoff game since the 2017 season. The Steelers will be playing in front of a full stadium. Remember, their last home playoff game was against the Browns during that COVID season, and only a limited amount of people were allowed in the stadium. So I expect that to help out tomorrow night, guys.
Yeah, I'm choosing to forget that game. That was one of those weird games all the way around. All right, Rich, thank you. Mike Tomlin's on the verge of history. After he passed Bill Cowher in wins in recent seasons, he's now on the verge of moving past the Emperor, Chuck Noll. And with one more win, he'll do it next year, but with a win over the Ravens, Tomlin tied Noll 193 regular season wins. So Charlie, early next year, when he surely will pass Chuck Noll, What does it say about his legacy here in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, when you just look at the level of consistency is definitely impressive. And the word that stands out to me is resiliency, especially as he had Ben Roethlisberger for all of those years. But if you just look at the last 4 years, he's had 7 quarterbacks that has thrown a pass, 6 of them who has started. And here he is now winning the division in the AFC North. So this is as impressive as it can be. And congratulations to Coach for tying Chuck Noll, who is considered one of the greatest.
It's incredible. It really is. Only 3 coaches in how many years now? 60-some years. It's unbelievable. Time to send the program to New York City. James Brown is standing by. He has a look at what's to come on the NFL Today right here on KDKA. JB?
Hey, Bob, up next on the NFL Today, the guys will look ahead to tomorrow's game as your Steelers try to advance when they host the Texans. But first, we'll break down today's wild card matchup between Josh Allen of the Bills and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And your Hall of Fame coach, Bill Cowher, analyzes the Jags' stout defense. Then the guys give their takes on John Harbaugh's exit from Baltimore. But now, coaches, guys, Bob and Charlie, they'll be right back when Steelers Kickoff continues right here on KDKA.
Steelers Kickoff is presented by McClellan's Contracting and Roofing. If our name goes on it, we stand behind it, so you can stand in it.
Well, you know, it's no secret that the Steelers offense is much more effective when tight end Pat Freiermuth is involved, and really the numbers back that up. Pat has seen his share of receptions tick up in recent weeks, as you can see here, and it's leading to more yards. Charlie, Freiermuth has proven to be a clutch performer. Do you think the Steelers need to involve him a little bit more? Well, this is a question we've been asking all season long, really.
Oh, they absolutely have to get him involved because he is the best passing, receiving tight end that you have on this roster. And this is the reason why they gave him an extension. And when you see just the moves that he's making and his ability to get open in the middle of the field, they're going to need that a lot more. Now, the question that I'm sure Coach Tomlin is going to challenge him on, as the Texans come in here in the 4-3, now we need you to become a better blocker to get that running game going. He's ultimately going up to that challenge, and I expect him to be a lot more involved in this week's game plan.
In the last couple of games, even the loss to Cleveland over the middle was where he made, end of the first half, end of the game when they needed it the most. So let's take a look at who's playing and who may be out for tomorrow night's game. DK Metcalf, you know, will be active. So will Jonnu Smith, who is nursing a little bit of an injury. TJ Watt is there. Loudermilk, they changed his designation to out, and we didn't expect anything other than that. As far as the Houston Texans, they got some guys who are questionable, but this is one of those games I think everyone wants to play in and everyone will play in. We're almost out of time here on Steelers Kickoff. When we come back, it's time for our predictions on what will happen on Monday night. A chance for the Steelers to move on to the divisional round. It's next.
Welcome back to BetMGM Steelers Kickoff.
All right, it is a busy day today, a Super Wildcard weekend, 3 games. All of them will impact the Steelers to some degree. And let's talk about the slate here, Charlie. You can see at 1 o'clock, we're going to have the Bills and Jacksonville. Then later today, Fox has that game in the NFC, which should be very interesting as the Eagles try to continue on. Then tonight is Chargers and New England, and then, of course, tomorrow night. But this is the only thing I'll tell you, that the Steelers could get a home playoff game next week. There's only one scenario. If Buffalo wins, and if the Chargers win, Buffalo comes to Pittsburgh. And I think they like that scenario, although you're dealing with Josh Allen. How do you see those games working out?
Yeah, I think Buffalo, they definitely have a real shot of going down there to Jacksonville and knocking those guys off. And ultimately, the game of the night is going to be that Chargers and Patriots game. Chargers, I know they're battling injury, but do they have enough to go in the Foxborough today? That's going to be one that all Steelers Nation is going to be paying attention to tonight.
New England has been really running the ball well. They haven't done that so much, but at the end of the year, Ramondre Stevenson has certainly done that. All right, let's talk about tomorrow. It's the big game. Rich, how do you see it playing out?
Well, I do like Buffalo in that game, but I want to talk about the Steelers right now. And I'm going with the Steelers. I think they win their first playoff game in 9 years, and here's the reason why. We know the Texans' defense is the best. I think the Steelers' defense has been playing really well as of late, and I think the difference comes down to the offenses. And I like the Steelers' offense better than the Houston offense. Aaron Rodgers gets the ball out fast. That offensive line is playing well. I think they put up 23 points, something like 23-16. Jerry?
You know, Rich, when you look at streaks, the Texans haven't won a road playoff game ever. They're 0-6 in their history. We know the Steelers on Monday night have won 23 in a row. I like the way this offense is playing. It's going to be up to this defense, though, I think, to create some takeaways. But I like the Steelers as well in this game, 23-20.
All right, we both got a good feeling. We're around the team a lot. I don't know if we're drinking the Kool-Aid, but we like the Steelers. What about you guys?
All right, Charlie.
Yes, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I think this defense of the Steelers, they make C.J. Stroud uncomfortable, feeding off the energy of the fans at Acrisure Stadium. Steelers win this game 27-23.
I like the Kool-Aid with a little bourbon involved, and that's why I think the defense will come out and be stout in this game. I don't like the Texans' offense really at all against the Steelers, so I'm looking at 19-9. All right, coming up today on KDKA and CBS, we got the NFL Today on CBS. It comes up next, 1 o'clock, Bills and Jags. You'll see it here on KDKA. We wrap it all up tonight, 11:35 with the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow at Acrisure Stadium for that big game between the Steelers and the Texans.